Find the latest Godzilla figures and more. Link in the description down below. Big Bad Toy Store has your cover. So what are you waiting for? Get those Godzilla figures right now. Link in the description down below. It's finally time to review the best figure of last year, I believe. The X Plus Godzilla 2019 from Godzilla King of the Monsters. So first of all, this figure without a doubt is very beautiful. It has a lot of details. It captures the image from Godzilla 2019 perfectly, and the pose looks very powerful, intimidating. He looks very angry, like he's facing down or looking ahead to Ghidorah, and the dorsal plates are very well detailed and sculpted. I don't think they ever did a mistake with this statue or figure. The tail is phenomenal. Like, just look at every single detail, and you gotta love this, man. It really captures the traditional style of Godzilla and a modern 2014, giving us this brand new Godzilla 2019. Now this time around, the tail was modified to change it to the traditional style that Godzilla was used to having with the Toho movies. And you know, it's a mixture between classic and modern, with both the 2014 and the original Godzilla, and this is what we have. A beautiful masterpiece. Just look at how well detailed those dorsal plates are. Like, every single detail the company put into this statue is beyond amazing. Looking at it from different angles, you just cannot go wrong with this figure. There's not a single angle where it looks bad, disturbing. The pose is meant to give power, anger, that he's ready, he's an alpha, and here ready to battle Ghidorah. It's just well detailed, and it gives you Godzilla has the look of an armored type of crocodile, or something that has a lot of protection throughout his body. Like, if you were to shoot Godzilla or try to take off a piece of his skin, that would be nearly impossible, because he has a lot of armor throughout his skin or body. Just look at that chest, his arms. He looks like super tanked up, ready to attack anything that there is. Just look at this beautiful pose. The head sculpture is beyond amazing. Every single detail on his teeth, individually sculpted. The inside of his mouth, they did not skip on this figure. Even on his eyes, they have that beautiful brownish honey type of color. Throughout his skin, you have this almost greenish type of yellow with brown type of color. I think genius. They did a fantastic job hiding the outlines or the lines that this statue has. From far away, they're nearly impossible to spot unless you remember every single line and you look very closely. I gotta give credits to X Plus for handling this very careful. I know for other companies it's very difficult to hide lines between gaps or somewhere around this figure or statues with other companies, but on this particular statue with Godzilla, they did a phenomenal job. Now this figure is giving out a very heavy type of look throughout his body, especially around his feet and claws. They are huge and thick. You can tell this is a very giant statue or figure, like without any doubts. And above his head, beautiful details and color to make that or those details pop even more, because if they would have went with a traditional gray type of charcoal color throughout his body and not add any highlights, then it would have been almost impossible or not as great to see and spot those small details or bigger details throughout his body. And this is what I'm talking about. He has some type of yellow and brown look throughout his body that makes every single detail pop even more. Now, was this the right decision for the color to pop even more? I think they could have added a better type of color, like a bluish, something different, because it kind of looks weird at some angles. Now let's talk about this little dorsal plate or little spike. This is the only statue or only figure that has this little dorsal plate From what I can recall, NECA, Monster Arts, and other companies don't have this. So I'm not sure if this is 100% true to how Godzilla is in the movie, or if this is some type of Easter egg or just something they threw. Now, the tail has been redesigned. As I told you, it is meant to be more classic with this figure. Now, the original 2014 had a much longer and pointy end. Is this any bad? No, I don't think so. 2014 was already my favorite design, and this took it up to the next level for sure. Now, a lot of people are happy because it resembles the classic, and here you go, a comparison. The 2014 had a bigger and pointy spike. Now, the only gap problem that I'm sure a lot of you have already spotted and seen if you have this figure is this. Around his tail, it has a nasty gap, and I told you that yes, they did a fantastic job hiding every other gap except this one right here. Now, if I try to push it up, it kind of wiggles. It's not stable enough. And I'm sure if you put maybe a piece of cardboard or maybe paper inside throughout his tail, you can tighten up his tail so it doesn't really fall like you're seeing right now. Now, that's a method I will try. And of course, you have this little base stand that comes with this figure. So if you don't know, this is pretty much a tradition with X Plus. They usually ship you a little stand for your tail because they are known for not standing up straight. So you have this other type of rod stand made out of a strong metal. It's not plastic like NECA, Monster Arts. This is real metal, and this helps you also balance your tail. Perhaps the traditional stand isn't doing it justice and you want to use this. You don't really need the original. This is absolutely perfect if you want to hide maybe that big gray type of stand and you don't want people to notice that it's actually standing with a base. This is a fantastic opportunity for you. And I know some people don't like stands, but come on, it's a stand. It's not noticeable. It's using translucent plastic on the tips, but not any type of cheap plastic. It is a very hard plastic with a metal rod, of course. Now, is it worth it? I think so, but I don't use it because I'm using it for something else at the moment. I don't think you can go wrong with either of them. It's up to you. This statue is amazing and I love it. I love it. The only problem that I do have is the damn hole around his tail. I will try to fix that. And for size comparison, just look at this right here. This is a Monster Arts Godzilla, the original. It's like the Omega and the Alpha, or the one that started it, everything, the one that became Godzilla because of the tragic that happened in Japan. It's like a force of nature, how Michael Dougherty says. It's meant to tell you a story, a very sad story, yet realistic, and you can have fun with it. Now, looking at that small figure, you saw that he has that brownish on his chest. I'm curious why they didn't add any type of brown throughout his chest. If I can recall or remember correctly, the 2014 X Plus version actually had brown throughout his chest. So I'm curious, why didn't X Plus add more color to this figure? I know I told you that it's doing a fantastic job to make those highlights or the details pop a lot with the extra color, but it does seem like it's lacking in some type of color. If you notice, it almost seems like it's a full-on gray throughout his whole body. No brown, no light blue, no extra color on his skin, and that would have been perfect. It just would have helped this figure pop even more than a full-on gray throughout his whole body. Now, looking at his eyes, you see that honey type of color that I told you, and they are perfect. I don't have any derpy eyes. I don't have any problems with them. If you do, comment down below and just look at that. Fantastic job. They didn't mess up. I don't have a bigger and smaller eye. They are perfect. And just look at how big this figure actually is. Now, it is big, but am I surprised? No, I am not surprised. I thought that this figure would have been bigger. You know, throughout my lifetime, I always heard that the gigantic Godzilla or that line was so big and it was the best of the best out there, right? Don't get me wrong. It is. It's very big. It has a lot of details, but I was already introduced to something even bigger, and that is the 2014 Jax Pacific. In my mind, I never had one. I never had a X Plus besides the Shin Godzilla Awakening version, and I thought that the gigantic line was supposed to be even bigger. I thought it was going to be bigger than Jax Pacific. I was super pumped, you know. This is my first ever X Plus gigantic, and it's truly an honor. It's a beauty. It's the best of the best out there. You cannot go wrong with this. But to be honest, I was expecting this to be massive, bulkier, and I was expecting to be blown away because I've heard so many great things about this, how massive it was supposed to be, how massive Burning Godzilla and the other statues are. So in my mind, I was ready to be blown away, especially because this is a very expensive figure. On top of that, don't forget shipping. Very big box, not cheap at all. And it took me a lot of hard work to achieve this. This is one of my biggest goals that I have ever achieved throughout my lifetime. I'm very proud. I'm very honored that I have achieved multiple things that I have wanted in life. It just goes to show you that if you want something in life, go out there and get it yourself. Don't expect someone else to do it. Work hard and achieve your dreams and never give up. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't, because you can if you think it's possible. Break your limits, as I always told you. And here I'm doing a comparison between the Jax Pacific, Godzilla 2014, and the X Plus. You see, the Jax Pacific it's just a little bit taller, but I really was expecting the X Plus to be even taller. It is bulkier for sure. It looks thicker, it looks stronger, better in detail, but the size is my only complaint that I have with this figure. Size. It would have been better to have a much bigger Godzilla 2019. Now with that being said, which one is for you? The standard or the Rick Boy? Now me personally, I would have went with the Rick Boy because I heard the Rick Boy does have a different color. It has a more bluish color, and of course the blue dorsal plates. Those look fantastic, and by blue color I mean throughout his skin. It's a much darker tone. And if you are wondering how heavy this figure is, here you go. How massive is the box? Very massive. That's why you have to pay a lot for shipping. As always guys, don't forget to subscribe, comment, and share the video around. Thank you guys for watching my review. I'll catch you guys next time.